Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2020 drama comedy Sophie Jones.
I just, I feel like I've become dependent on you.
Hey, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That just means that you enjoy my opinions, and I'm perfectly fine with that. No problems here. I thought Sophie Jones was an okay movie. I didn't think it was great, but what's spectacular about this movie is that the star Jessica Barr was very young when she did this movie. I mean, she's supposed to be playing a 16-year-old. I mean, clearly she's in her like 19 or early 20s. I really have no idea how old she is. I tried looking for information on her age, but couldn't find anything. But she directed, wrote, and produced this movie, which is just incredible at her age to be able to do that and get this movie created, get this movie made at such a young age. I think is absolutely phenomenal. I think she does a really good job here as her first, I believe this is her first entry into the movie world, and I think she did an amazing job considering her age and considering everything that she did. This movie just wasn't really for me. Now, I will say that everyone deals with grief in a different way, so I'm not going to kind of bash the way that she deals with grief in any way. At least I'm not going to try to do that, because we all have our own feelings, we all have our own emotions, and we deal with things in a certain way. And it's going to be very easy for me to say that, well, she spiraled, she handled things poorly. This isn't how someone would normally handle grief. This isn't how someone would normally handle this type of situation. But who am I to say that? Because everyone deals with things differently. For one, just to give a personal story, when I graduated high school, 2 months after graduating high school, my best friend of 13 years, was killed by a drunk driver. And I handled it very poorly as well. Not the same way she did. I locked myself in my room and basically cried for a month straight until I couldn't cry anymore. I handled everything, tried to handle everything by myself. I wouldn't let anyone in. I wouldn't let anyone help me. I wouldn't let anyone consult me. I just basically bottled it up inside and tried to deal with everything on my own until finally I couldn't do it anymore. Now, a lot of people would say that I dealt with that poorly, and that's not how a normal person would deal with grief. But we all deal with things differently, and this is just her, the story is about her navigating her way, trying to figure out what her place in life is, trying to figure out how to move on after a tragic event has happened, and trying to feel something again, trying to feel joy in her life again, trying to feel just anything, basically anything but despair and grief is what she's trying to feel. So essentially, I think she's supposed to be 16 in this movie. She is in high school, and this movie takes place right after her mother has passed away. Now, she was in the house when this happened, or she was coming home from school when this happened, but she ended up seeing like her mom's, I believe she was in like the body bag that you put adults in or put people in when they passed away. So it was a very traumatic scene for her. She saw this event unfold. I don't think we ever really learned what happened to her mom, but she did see her mom pass away, and this was very tragic to her. We get the feeling that her mom was probably someone who was like her best friend, someone that she could confide in, someone that she was very close to. And right after this, she decides that she is going to, I think she's basically trying to have have a relationship, but not emotionally, not mentally, and it just be about sex. Basically, is what she's trying to do. So she tries to schedule this this evening where she's going to have sex with this guy she likes, and it ends up not happening. Now she schedules she tries to hook up with a lot of people in this movie, and she does say that she outwardly says that she's hooking up with people, but she's not actually having sex with them. It seems like she's getting to like second, third base, and then deciding that she doesn't want to. It's not something that she wants to do. It's like her emotions brought her here, her grief brought her here, but then once she's in that moment, she's not able to do it. Now, the movie says that she is a virgin, and I think that this also kind of looms over her head, that this is going to be a big decision of losing her virginity, and there's kind of this like push and pull with her of she wants to get rid of this grief, she wants to do this act of having sex with a guy, but she also knows that this is something that she shouldn't just do on the whim type of thing. So I think there's this constant struggle in her of what she's supposed to do and how she's supposed to act, and eventually, when the time comes, she decides not to do it. Later in the movie, there is a guy that she does actually like, who she's not just doing this for emotional detachment or emotional attachment. And she decides that she does want to have sex with him, and she does, and the relationship is going really well, but at the end of the movie she decides that the relationship is not for her, and she ends up breaking it off with the guy. She also is really good friends with her sister, who you see throughout the entire movie that they're together, and her sister's trying to help her with her grief, but she doesn't necessarily invite a lot of people in. Even this gentleman that she was sleeping with, that she actually did have sex with, she says, like, you know my backstory. She asks him one day, like, what's the biggest grief you've ever gone through? And he says, well, like, why don't you tell me? And she says, well, you know mine. And he says, like, not really. I don't know that much about it. Like, I know that your mom passed away, but, like, I don't know anything else, because you're not letting anyone, like, in your life that deep. It's all surface level stuff. You're not letting anyone into your heart. You're not letting anyone in to help you, or to help you grieve, or to be there for you. It's just all surface level stuff. And then I don't think she ends up telling the story about how she found her mom and what happened with her mom. I don't think we ever really learned his story, like what happened with him. Later in the movie, like a year later, we learn that their father has found someone else that he wants to date, that he's going to try to date. Now she thinks that it's too soon, and she confronts him about it. She says, like, don't you think this is too soon? And he kind of scoffs at it, and he says no, and her sister says no as well. Her sister seems like she's trying to be supportive of her father, but I don't know. If I'm going to give my opinion, that does seem like it's a little soon, but he apparently is ready to move on, and he's ready to step into a new relationship, whereas she is still trying to figure stuff out. Now, I think another problem that she has here, that Sophie Jones has here, is that her father doesn't seem too involved in her life. Her father doesn't seem to know that much about the pain and the emotions that she's going through. He seems a bit like he's detached. I don't really ever get this feeling that he wants to like delve too far into her emotions and delve too far into her life. It doesn't ever seem like he really wants to help her in any way, or to offer any help, or to see like if she's in a good space mentally, or if she's in a good space in her life. It doesn't seem like there's any real deep conversations going on between the father and his daughters. Like I said, everything is basically surface level in this movie, and I think that, my opinion, it would probably help if there was a check-in every now and then. I mean, obviously you lost your wife, but she's also she's 16 years old, she's in high school, she has to go try to continue her routine every day, try to continue being a kid, trying to continue having fun in life as a kid, but also deal with this grief. It's a very hard situation for someone her age to go through, and it's hard on him too, but yeah, he's an adult. Like, he can probably handle these emotions better. He can take the time off if he needs to. He has options, whereas she has to navigate this world and this life by herself and with her sister, but it still seems like it's going to be a very hard situation for her. And I think it would just be better maybe if there was a check-in, if he kind of tried to figure out if she's okay and what's going on in her life, but it never really happens. And I thought this, like I said, I thought this movie was good. For as far as the grief movie goes, I didn't think Sophie Jones, or Jessica Barr, who plays Sophie Jones, I thought her acting was really bad in this movie, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. And there are scenes in this movie where there's awkward silences, or there's pauses, or it seems like people are searching for words. Now, I know this is supposed to be like a regular conversation that people would have. It's supposed to mimic everyday dialogue. It's not supposed to be like refined writing, but it just does seem like, even if it's regular people talking, that it's still awkward pauses that don't belong there. There's still slips ups, and there's still misses that you wouldn't expect in like a normal conversation. So that was kind of hard to watch. The cast as a whole is okay, but Jessica Barr's acting was really distracting for me. I really didn't think that she was that good. I thought she was kind of bad, actually, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Besides that, for me, if I'm going to watch a grief movie, a movie about loss, a movie about dealing with loss, what what strikes me and what emotionally hits a home run for me is something like Ordinary People, which is one of my top three favorite movies of all time. This to me just doesn't have that emotion. It doesn't have. Obviously, she's hurt and she's going through a lot, but it doesn't have that special something to me that really draws you in, that really makes you feel about her character, that really makes you want her to overcome this. I mean, you do want her to overcome this. You do want her to feel. You do want her to get better and to be okay. But it doesn't have that. I didn't have that same emotional attachment to this character as I felt I should, considering what she went through. It was very hard for me to constantly be on her side and constantly be in her on her team, so to speak. So it just missed. It's missing that emotion to me. It's missing that depth to me. It's missing that the realisticness to me. Like I said, Ordinary People would be a better grief movie in my opinion. But like I said, I thought this movie was great, especially for a first time director, writer, producer credit. I thought she did a really good job. There's no way I could have pulled off a movie like this if that was my first time. And I'm actually astonished that she was able to get it made. I mean, I don't know how the industry is, but my assumption is that if you're very young and you have this script that you want to get made into a movie, that it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do. So I give her props for that. She was able to get it made. I haven't looked at her career, what she's done since then, but I'm sure she has refined all the inconsistencies and all the things that I didn't think were great about this movie, and I'm sure she's doing much bigger and better things now than she was before. So I thought this movie was good, not great, not bad, just good, which for me is a 7 out of 10. So it is going to get a 7 out of 10, and I hope you will join me next time when I review a movie called I Will Make You Mine. Thank you. Have a great day.